Welcome to the Real Film Nerds Podcast.
Welcome, listeners, to Real Film Nerds episode number 277. We continue going to the movies. It's been a good start to the summer, don't you think there, Mike?
I've been pretty pleased.
I think it's been pretty solid. We've had some good films in the theaters. We've had some mediocre films hit the streaming. Overall, 2022 is starting out with a bang. Oh, dude, did you know that the new Doctor Strange is already on freaking Disney Plus? I can't believe that. It feels like it was just in the theater.
Wow, no, I didn't know that was already on Disney Plus. But did you see that Top Gun broke $1 billion?
Yes, I did see that. And I will probably go see it again because it's that good.
And it was almost first place again this week, just behind the movie we're reviewing today.
I thought they tied.
No, the final numbers.
Oh, okay. Because, the news was reporting this morning that they tied. But, so, Mike, this is a film closer and nearer and dearer to your heart. So I expect you to do most of the talking. Don't be nervous. Don't sit there and fall asleep. Talk about your one and only love next to Nirvana, Elvis.
Well, I don't know if it's my one and only love, but yes, Elvis.
Well, musical.
This was great, man. This was a good movie. I was happy to see kind of an Elvis documentary. I don't think there's been one in a while, and this was well done.
Well, Mike, quit beating around the bush, and why don't you give us the breakdown for Elvis 2022?
All right, Matt. So this movie was directed by Baz Luhrmann, and it was written by Baz Luhrmann, Sam Bromell, Craig Pierce, and Jeremy Donner. And this movie is starring Austin Butler, Tom Hanks, Olivia DeJoy, Helen Thompson, and from his childhood in Tupelo, Mississippi, to his rise to stardom, starting in Memphis, Tennessee, and his conquering of Las Vegas, Nevada, Elvis Presley becomes the first rock and roll star and changes the world with his music.
I don't know if I agree with him being the first rock and roll star, but he definitely was, I would say, probably one of the very first, what we consider today, superstars, just in general.
Yeah, he was a superstar before there was I don't know, before there was such fandom, I guess, of people, like fanatical kind of stuff. Something about him moving his hips and having long hair, I guess, just kind of like the Beatles came along a little bit later in the 70s or 60s. I guess it was just pandemonium.
Yeah, I mean, I'd say, Elvis and the Beatles, I think, are two very good examples of early on superstars as what we think of them today. But as far as being the first rock star, I mean, there's many before Elvis. I mean, Buddy Holly, he was a big rock and roll star, in my opinion.
Yeah. I mean, this is just the write-up that is on IMDb, but he was. I think really what he did was, he shook his hips, which apparently no one else did at the time, which almost seems foreign to me, Matt. It almost seems weird that people didn't move around or dance while they're performing. And I guess the answer is no, they didn't really. They just did their performance. It wasn't as theatrical, I guess, and he was very, especially as he continued on, more outfits and just he was a showman. He wanted to give people a show.
Which I applaud, because those are the bands that I personally always prefer to go see. I mean, there's nothing wrong with going and seeing a band that just puts on a good show, but when they're on that next level of doing a performance along with creating their music and for a live audience, I think it just elevates the whole experience, in my opinion.
Now, Matt, I know you went to this movie not knowing too much about Elvis. Did you know he was a twin?
I did not. I did not know that, and neither did my mom. And my mom grew up watching Elvis.
Oh, okay. I actually did know that, so I thought that was. I wasn't sure what they were gonna do for this movie, like how much they were gonna cover, and they pretty much do cover, the very beginning of his life, in a little bit of his childhood, and it was pretty well done. There are some things I did some fact checking because I couldn't quite remember how some of the stuff went down, but overall it was pretty accurate to his life, and a little bit sad the deal that he ended up having with his manager, man. 50-50. What the heck?
Yeah, so I never studied like a whole lot about Elvis the man. I studied a fair share about his music, though. I took some. You remember I told you about these classes when I was in college, taking the history of rock and roll and stuff like that.
Oh yeah, you did. You said you had a good time with that one.
Oh, it was wonderful. The thing that floored me about that class is it was in literally Grady Gamage, which those of you who don't know Grady Gamage down in Phoenix, it is an enormous theater. Like not like huge, like massive, but it's thousands of people. And that was where the class was because that's the only way it could handle the class. And it was an online class, kind of. So they had lectures and things, and then you would take quizzes and exams and stuff online. And we're talking, this is 2000, 2001. This is over 20 years ago, people. So yes, there was online schooling back then too. But I liked the class so much that I went to every single lecture. I never missed it because, they didn't take attendance on that crap. So people didn't have to show up if they didn't want to. I loved it. I thought it was such a good class. But anyways, I'll get off that topic. But so I know a little bit about Elvis. I don't know anywhere near what you know. I didn't know that the Colonel took such hardcore advantage of him. I mean, 50-50. How the hell do you sign that deal? That is insane.
That is insane, man. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. I guess maybe he was just naive and then never really looked into it because, after you start, everything happens and you start becoming famous and you just don't really know what's going on as much. I don't know, man. Crazy.
Well, maybe I shouldn't say insane because, I mean, right now, the splits I have at my current job is 50-50. So maybe I should take a lesson from Elvis.
Oh, all right. Well, looks like Matt might be changing jobs soon.
I hear In-N-Out Burger's hiring.
Yeah, dude. Are they starting at 60 or 70K now?
No, but I think they're in the 20s.
Oh, geez, man. The other day, a local grocery store in my area was advertising for some warehouse workers. 60K starting.
Still, that's a hard way to make 60K, man, doing warehouse work. But again, the people at Amazon, that's basically what the people of Amazon do, is they're warehouse workers that throw stuff in boxes.
Yeah. No, it would be better than working at Amazon and it pay about twice as much.
Oh, yeah, easily. So, anyways, I didn't mean to interrupt you, but keep going, Mike.
All right. So anyway, I don't want to spoil too much. I already kind of did a little bit with the 50-50 thing. I know it's based on real world stuff, so I'm just gonna get this out of the way, Matt. What are you drinking this fine morning, evening, afternoon?
Well, Mike, since it's a special occasion with a special movie, and it's a beer I just had in the fridge, I'm continuing drinking my 4-pack of the Flying Bassett's El Capitan Mexican Cerveza.
Oh, all right.
Yeah.
Cool. El Capitan.
Where craft beer takes flight.
Yeah.
I drank one of
It's
these for Top Gun, by the way. Those of you that are wondering why I'm saying I am drinking another one.
Well, Matt, I had another IPA. This one was Southern Tier. It's called 2 Times IPA, which is their double IPA. It's fantastic.
So does double IPA, does that mean it's super bitter?
It just usually means usually means a little bit sweeter because they have to put more sugar and more hops. So it is maybe a little bit more bitter, but I think actually often it's less because they have to put so much sugar in to get, because it usually gets the ABV up, alcohol by volume, up to like 8 to 10%, depends. So
All right.
heavy hitters.
Little beer education from our resident beer guru, Miguelito. Talent.
Yes. Oh yeah, you haven't said that in a long time.
All right, Mike. So I regret doing this, but you better have a good one. Mike, what is this week's amazing dad joke?
I got dad jokes, I don't think they understand though. Gotta think I'm funny, other people never laugh though. Dad jokes.
All right, Matt. How do plants comfort each other when they are sad?
Smoke each other?
They photosympathize.
You almost couldn't even say the joke. That's how you know it's a good one.
I didn't want to mess it up, so I stopped. I almost said photosynthesize.
They don't have it in there as phonetic for you, do they?
No, they do not.
Oh, well. All right, Mike. Well, let's keep rolling because I know you want to spoil this film. Mike, how does Elvis 2022, it's not in the title, but I think I should put it out there because there have been several films done on Elvis, relate to the Marvel Cinematic Universe?
Well, Matt, at first I was going to go with Cody Smith McPhee. He played in the X-Men movies, which is kind of now part of the Marvel Cinematic, but it's kind of a little blurry. See, he played like Nightcrawler in some of the newer ones, so X-Men Apocalypse and X-Men Dark Phoenix, X-Men... is there one more? I think... Well, anyway, in those ones. But I decided that I didn't want to use that, and I dug even deeper, and I found a person named Tuesday Stone who worked as a assistant set designer for Thor Ragnarok.
All right. Well, she definitely has the name for a celebrity.
Yeah, I thought it was kind of a cool name. Tuesday.
Yeah,
Tuesday Stone.
definitely. So, all right, Mike. So, not that it matters. I mean, it shouldn't because it is a biopic based on someone's real life. But, Mike, go ahead. Let's roll into the spoilers for Elvis.
Okay, Matt. I mean, it is a biopic, but so Matt, with this movie, Elvis, the director kind of threw in a bunch of interesting song titles, like inside of this movie, like besides the actual like Elvis songs, like more modern stuff. What did you think of that? Did you think it was weird, or do you think it was?
You know, that's one of the things I was actually thinking about when I was watching the film because I wanted kind of more of just Elvis's music. I wasn't super hot on the hip hop stuff. I don't know how many hip hop songs were in there. I know there was at least one or two. And I know what the director was trying to do and say, but I wanted to hear Elvis.
Yeah, I gotcha. So I guess he was trying to say that a lot of stuff is based on music from a lot of the time period, like a lot of the different artists that were coming popular, like BB King and Elvis and who else was Little Richard?
Yeah, I think that was
Yeah.
Little Richard in that one scene. But see, some of that during those scenes would have been great instead of modern day hip hop. I would have welcomed hearing BB King's real music, Little Richard's real music, during some of those scenes instead of modern day hip hop. But it could just be that, you're like me, you're not a super huge fan of hip hop. I'm not against it, but it's just not my thing. And I feel in a film like this, it's just a poor attempt at trying to bring in younger viewers.
Yeah, it might be. It might be. Another thing that I thought was interesting in this movie is this movie portrayed BB King and Elvis as like friends or whatever, and they actually did kind of know each other, but didn't. I don't think they really were friends or buddies hanging out in Memphis on, was it Beale Street? I think is where all the music's at.
Yeah, I think it was Beale Street. Yeah, but I can see them being friends, but I don't see them being like really close friends. Where like Elvis is trying to escape his fandom and go somewhere to just chill out. I don't see that being like a thing. But as far as knowing him and possibly hanging out with him on the occasion, sure, I can definitely see that.
Yeah. There was a few things in the movie, like, because remember, man, I was fact checking some of the things and some of the stuff, like, the shooting of Robert Kennedy and his special.
Yeah.
Apparently that happened while they were doing the rehearsals for that special. They had it like for 2 weeks. They had rehearsals for that special.
Okay.
And it happened early on in the rehearsals. And it definitely did affect the special and stuff, but it wasn't quite like the movie portrayed it as like almost being like that, like, within an hour or two they were going to be going on live. I mean, it wasn't quite like that, but it was right around the right time, like right, pretty much there.
Okay. So how about this question for you, Mike? How do you think Austin Butler did portraying Elvis?
Oh, I think he did a fantastic job. I think he really researched the role a lot. I mean, with Elvis, there is a lot of footage, and there's even those movies he made in Hollywood and all this stuff. So I think he did a good job. I don't feel like he tried to overplay him as much. Because Elvis, I don't think was too, I don't know, like he was a wonderful performer and all that, but like he was, it seemed like he was mostly pretty relaxed and I don't know, not super talkative when he wasn't performing, I guess. So I felt like he did this nice nuanced performance, like I think really Elvis was. The one thing in the movie that I thought seemed a little weird, and then when I looked it up, it wasn't how it went down, was Elvis firing his manager, from the stage, Colonel Tom Parker.
Yeah, that was fictional.
That was fictional. Now, he did end up firing him because something happened with the Hilton chain, and like the actual Hilton guy, I forget his name, Baron Hilton or something. He got in a fight with him, and then then Elvis did some like charity thing or something. It was weird. Anyway, he did fire Colonel Tom Parker, but it was just, face to face and not in front of a crowd or whatever. But the exact thing in the movie portrayed happened where Colonel Tom Parker went and was like, well, I'm going to give you a bill for what you owe me. And then he had to hire him back.
That's crazy. After already taking 50%, he was trying to get the rest of it.
I guess, man. I don't know. They did portray that Colonel Tom Parker had quite the gambling problem. And I do think he liked to gamble, but I don't think it was quite as bad as the movie kind of was leading to.
Yeah, well, I mean, in the movie, they make it sound like pretty much how he kept forcing Elvis to stay in Vegas and stay in the U.S. was because of his gambling problem.
Yeah, yeah. In the movie, they also show that Elvis finds out that Colonel Tom Parker can't leave the country or whatever because he doesn't have passport or citizenship, or it's a little confusing on that part, but that was untrue. Elvis never knew that he didn't have citizenship and couldn't leave the country. He died before that stuff came to light.
Really made it seem like Colonel Parker was a illegal alien.
I think he kind of was. I'm not 100% sure. It seemed a little weird when I was reading about some of that stuff. But yeah. But overall, man, I thought this was a pretty accurate kind of telling of Elvis, and the army thing where he gets drafted. I read an article that he served with Lieutenant Colin Powell.
Oh, interesting. Wow.
In Germany, and he just said Elvis was just like a normal guy. He followed orders. He did all the stuff he was supposed to do. Like, he was just a normal soldier, like exactly what you would want.
Huh.
He didn't have any special treatment in the army or anything.
Interesting. Mike, did you read any of the books about Colonel Parker before this film? Because I know there's several books about him.
No, I didn't. I wondered where he got the phrase. He kept saying snow job, and I kept it just bothered me. I didn't know what that meant. I guess it's a carnival term or something.
Yeah, that's the only thing I could come up with is I guess it's some kind of, carny terminology or something. I don't know, but I mean, he kept talking about making a snow, and I'm like, well, as far as I know what a snow job is very different than that.
Yeah, Matt, I'm sure yours is the Urban Dictionary version.
That's what I was thinking of.
Yeah, I don't know. That was a little interesting. I don't know. And I did like Tom Hanks as this role because he's kind of more of a kind of a bad guy or kind of creepy guy. So that was fun. Tom Hanks is usually always the good guy. So. And I don't know if this guy was quite bad, but he portrayed him more as a little devious, I guess.
Well, I like that because we don't get a whole lot of Tom Hanks doing darker roles or even comedies anymore. That's one I really miss. We've talked about it in the past on other Tom Hanks films, but I really would love to see Tom Hanks get back to doing a comedy. Turner and Hoochman was just the shit. Big, come on.
Yeah. Or Matt, what about Money Pit? Dude, I love Money Pit.
Amazing.
I love that movie.
The night after my water heater blew up and I had to put thousands and thousands of dollars into my house, I watched Money Pit and I was like, well, could always be fucking worse.
Yeah, it could be.
That movie was so fun. Tom, you're the man. Anyways, so, I only have a handful of complaints on this film, but it does affect it for me. I think it was way too fucking long. It felt long to me. I mean, it's almost 3 hours.
It was a little bit. It was long, but I mean, it had a lot to cover. I mean, I guess it didn't have to cover everything it did, but I don't know.
Yeah, well, I agree. I mean, it has a whole lot to cover. I mean, think about it, Mike. Elvis was just about our age when he died, and he did all of that in 42 years.
Yeah.
I mean, just absolutely incredible. There are parts of Elvis's life I wish we would have had more of. That's another one of my complaints. I wish we would have had a little bit more of his childhood and his high school and becoming who he was than it focusing more on the Colonel at that point in this story. I wish there would have been less about Hollywood and less about his movies. I think we should have had some. I know that was a big deal to him, but I don't know if it's a big deal to the story for us. Again, it's a movie about, a celebrity. So of course he wanted to be a movie star. Of course they're going to center on that a little bit. But I wish there was just a little bit more about him, the man, his family, and more about his music. Like, I felt the beginning was pretty decent. The middle was kind of dragged ass. And then the end was just out of this world.
Okay. Yeah, I could see that. I wanted to see more with his family, like when he started his family, but it was pretty glanced over, man. It was pretty fast, and then like divorce, and then the kid stuff. Kid stuff bothers me more now, Matt, being a dad. It's weird.
Yeah, I mean, I agree. I think it would have been nice to see more about Priscilla and Lisa Marie. I would have liked to see more about, his dynamics with his own family. They went from being literally dirt poor to living in Graceland all together in this big, huge mansion. And he's taking care of everybody.
Yeah, yep.
Still only on 50%.
Well, I think things were good.
Oh yeah, I'm not complaining, but okay, Mike. So, what else would you like to add about Elvis before we find out what movie you want to watch next week?
I guess before we get to our ratings, I think I would tell people that if you're even mildly interested in Elvis, you should go see this. It was good. I don't know. I guess that's what I'll say.
I'll echo that sentiment that if you like Elvis, or if you're into music or rock and roll or how it came to be or performing or anything like that, this is definitely well worth a watch in the theaters, just because that's what this film was made for, is the theaters. Like a lot of the films that have come out this summer.
Yeah, it's definitely seems like the theaters are kind of picking up stride. It's good. It's good. We want them to stay around, so this is the way they do that.
Well, okay, Mike. So before we jump into our ratings, it's your pick next week. What movie are we going to watch?
All right, Matt. So I was looking for something new. There's like a Minions movie coming out, but I think I decided on that why not hit something on the streaming that's been doing pretty good, and that's the new Adam Sandler Netflix movie, Hustle. It's got really good reviews and looks interesting.
Well, all right, Mike. So for those of you who have Netflix that haven't canceled it, like half the country, go ahead and why not sit down and watch this with us and come back next Wednesday when we chat about our thoughts on Hustle and if it's really deserves that nice high 90% rating on Rotten Tomatoes.
Yeah, looks like a good one. More serious role, I think, for Adam Sandler. So, see how this goes.
All right, Mike. So, as far as ratings go, Ma Hinshaw is coming hot out the gate. I talked to her. She watched the film today. She didn't get to see it over the weekend, just too busy because I will keep the family drama out. But basically, my older sister is back and taking advantage of my parents. My youngest nephew is living with my parents now. So we'll see how long that lasts. But yeah, it's fucking awesome. Anyways, Ma Hinshaw loved Elvis 2022. She gives it 4.5 cookies.
Oh man, that's really good. Yeah, I'm gonna give this one. I'm gonna give it 4 out of 5 reels. I liked it quite a bit. There's just a few things with some of the inaccuracies of it, and I guess some of the pacing, and I don't know. I would have liked to see certain things. I mean, there's a lot in Elvis's life, so everybody wants something different.
Mike, I concur. I give it 4 out of 5 reels as well. I had it written down long before you said it. I liked the movie overall. I thought it was very good. There's just a lot of things that I think needed to be fixed, and I discussed some of those. The length. I didn't know about the inaccuracies, but that definitely is a factor. The dragginess, some of the things that I would have liked to have seen that were not in the film. The myriad of things we just discussed.
Well, all right, Matt. I think with that, we'll let everybody get back to their day jobs, night jobs.
Snow jobs.
Oh, snow jobs. Oh, yeah, dude. Good job, man. Lots of jobbing. Anyway, yeah. So, make sure to follow us on the socials, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and we'll catch you on the next pod. Go out there, see a movie or stream a movie like we're doing this next week. All right. Thanks for listening, everybody.
Thank you for listening to The Real Film Nerds. Now, don't forget to follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram at Real Film Nerds. Now, go out and catch a movie.